Hi, I'm Romans here, and in this video I'm gonna give you some stories behind making of the Wrong Doors music video. Whenever you are shooting outside, the biggest problem you may encounter is the weather. And it's kind of what happened with Wrong Doors. We were shooting the music video on the 6th of November. I remember that because one day after that my son celebrated his second birthday. Early November, the beginning of winter. That was probably the sunniest day in like a month. There were just so many dark days before, so many dark days afterwards. Matthew, the director, I remember that on the day of the shooting, he was like, let's postpone it. I don't want to shoot it. I don't want to shoot it when the sun is shining. If you don't know anything about filmmaking, basically when the sun is shining, it's the worst thing that can happen. It affects the shots too much to the point where there's very little you can do with it. This resulted in almost 3/4 of the shots not being usable. We still had to use a few of them in the music video because we didn't have enough. The direct sunlight is just tampering with the camera too much. There's this shot you can see where there was a shadow created by the doors with the green screen and the keyboard player. And as soon as the camera moves out of that shadow, there's this direct sunlight and the shot is unusable from that moment on. I think it was around 4 p.m. when the sun was setting down. You know, we were surrounded by these big mountains, and obviously this was early November, so it was getting darker much sooner. And at that moment, Matthew was like, this is perfect. This is how it should have been the whole day. So we did like 2 takes. A lot of that was used in the music video, but once again, we couldn't rely just on those shots. When Matthew came to me, he had this vision that he wanted the band to be on a field, on a very big field that hasn't been made ready for the next season, for the crops. And I found a field like that. I remember that the day before the shooting, we went there. The field was kind of frozen, and Matthew was absolutely astonished. He was like, this is exactly what I imagined. This is perfect. This is what I want. I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool, you know. You're welcome. I've already mentioned that the sun was shining, and one of the side effects of that was that it melted the field. When we were discussing what to wear, the only thing that really mattered were the boots, because the rest of the clothing was hidden behind the outfits that we had. I actually was the only one who brought old boots. Those are the ones that I've used also in the Don't Give Up That Dream music video, but at the time of Wrong Doors, they were really worn out. I think I still have them, but I'm not really gonna wear them anymore. And every other band member had these really fancy boots, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be like the poorest, the most ridiculously looking person on the set. Turned out that my choice was the best one because of the dirt, because of how dirty and how muddy the whole field was. I still remember the saxophone player Lucas. He had this little cloth, and he brought it basically, if there's just a little dirt on his boots, he would like clean it up. And you know, he came out of the field, his boots totally covered in mud, and he was like, what am I gonna do with this? I'm gonna have to clean them, every inch of the boots. It was so funny. Not funny when we were there, but you know, makes for a good story. Also, another thing that was kind of problematic, it wasn't just the sun that was shining, also the wind was blowing quite a lot. And ever since we put the green screen into 2 of the doors, sometimes the wind tripped the doors over and they fell over to the drummer and to the keyboard player. Unfortunately, I don't have any shots. I don't think any shots were made while this happened, because this was a problem we had to deal with very early on. But there is this one shot where you can see how much the wind is moving the doors. As a countermeasure, we had to put some weight behind the doors so that they wouldn't trip over. We used some hammers and some stuff. You can see that on this shot here. Another problem that I had was that like a month before the shooting, I called the drummer, William, who did the record with me, and I told him, look, 1 month from now, we're shooting the music video for Wrong Doors, so when can you come? And he was like, whoa, I don't really have time to be part of this group anymore. We just did the record, that's it. I'm out, really, I have other projects. I don't have time for this. I kept looking for someone who could be a permanent band member, but I couldn't find anyone. You know, it's kind of a weird situation. The record is finished, and what's the motivation, really? You know, and there were no gigs because of the COVID. So I approached my old colleague from my first band. I had a band called Bad Pools from 2009 to 2010. You can learn more in the House and Wise of Iako Bei, which you can find here. And the drummer was called Laci Majernik. So I called him. This was like maybe 3 weeks before the shooting. I sent him the track. He absolutely loved the song, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. Why not? This wouldn't make much of a story, but something like 10 or 11 days before the shooting, he called me and he said, look, I've got a bit of a problem. I've got COVID. And his quarantine was supposed to end on the day of the shooting. You know, Matthew, the director of the music video, he was living on the other side of the Republic, so he wasn't really coming here very often. So I didn't really know how to deal with that. I started looking for other drummers, but I couldn't find anyone. So basically the deal I had with Laci was that if you're okay enough enough, if you're not positive, and if you feel like you can do it, we're gonna go with you. When we released the music video a couple of weeks ago, he was like, oh, you can see that I was after the COVID in the music video. I don't think you can see that. So yeah, very interesting and very tense situation, because if you couldn't make it, I don't know what, I really don't know what we would have done. Another big problem when you're shooting outside is the source of music. There are really just two choices you have when you're shooting in the nature. You either bring a power generator, something that can create the electricity for you, or you have a Bluetooth speaker. We brought a Bluetooth speaker, a really big one, but it wasn't as loud as I thought it was gonna be. So sometimes when the drummer was playing louder, we couldn't really hear the music, and it was kind of hard to understand where you are in the music. It was really difficult. Also, because Matthew was quite far away from us, sometimes there were these problems with the song skipping, and there were these shots. You can see the shot where he brings me the phone so that it would be close to us.
DJ. Musí byť asi mobil.
Now you'll be able to see some bloopers from the band shots. Also, maybe my face sometimes isn't that pleasant in the music video with all the, like, you know, all the singing and all the facial expressions. But the reason for that was that I was actually singing on the set. I wasn't just lip syncing, I was really singing. So all that struggle you can see in my face, that's the real singing, and basically trying to scream over the music and the drums and all of that, you know.
Beží, môžeme zapnúť hudbu. Kamera beží, môžeme púšťať.
Originally, the story of the music video was supposed to be much more complex, with the green screen being used a lot more. The music video took 9 months to be finished, and that was mainly because Matthew had just a lot of other stuff to do because of the lockdown, because of the COVID, and because of all the other stuff. And because it was so hard with the green screen, we had to sort of reduce the story. When we came to the set, the very first thing we did was that we did some drone shots. And the same guy who did the drone shots for Don't Give Up the Dream music video was there with us. The only shot that was used was this like drone flying over the field, which you can see in the actual music video. But there was this really cool shot. That was the first thing on the set. Just 4 doors, and each one of us was supposed to go through the doors. You weren't supposed to see us before going outside of the doors. And this was with the story that like every band member comes from a different reality or a different universe or whatever. I really regret this shot not being used in the music video, but Matthew basically told me that it didn't fit the music video. And this is actually one of the good problems when you're making a music video, when you have too much footage to choose from. Also, when it comes to the story, you know, you can see now the shots where we were supposed to come in through the doors.
Roman, vytoč sa viac. Dobre. Ok, stop. Môžeme ísť na miesta. Kamera beží a akcia.
And even at the end, basically as we are playing the song, towards the end of the song, each band member was supposed to kind of like look towards the direction where they came in, and they were supposed to stop playing sooner than the song ends and kind of go back the way they came in. And with every band member, except me, because I stayed on the stage, every band member did like 3 or 4 takes of this, and they didn't really end up in the music video or just in a very simplified version. And I asked Matthew, why didn't you put it there? We spent so much time with that. And he said, well, the other guys were not really acting. You know, I don't want to say anything bad about them. The main point is that just because you're a musician doesn't mean that you're a good actor. And if there's not really believable acting, then you can't really use that story-wise. Now you'll be able to see some bloopers from that.
Kamera beží, môžeme? Podkladaj a poď. Dobre, super, díky, máme. Dobre, kamera beží. Pozri sa. Dobre, stop. Kamera beží. A poď. Dobre, stop. Hej, potom sa dívaj celý čas, akože tam, kde utekáš. Dobre, kamera beží a red set, akcia. OK, dobre, a ešte raz. Kamera beží. A action. Kamera beží a ukáž prosím ťa, iba takto prebehni. Poď. Dobre, a poď. Dobre, a poď ešte raz. OK, dobre, díky. Dobre, stoj. Nadvihni ho. A poď pomaličky do tvojho prava. Poď, ešte poď. Dobre, dík, môžeš odísť s ním.
Čo?
Hej. Hej.
Nepodal ako dlho.
Počkáme chvíľku a dáme to znovu.
A Roman cez nich prebehne.
Akcia. Dobre, pridajme tam na ten rám.
Roman. Hej.
A akcia. To bolo moc rýchle, poď ešte raz.
Aké sú tvoje pocity, Roman? Povedz nám.
Moje pocity sú pocitové.
Dobre.
The other shooting day happened, I think, in January or February because of the lockdown. Originally, it was supposed to happen in December. And Matthew shot some additional story shots with the girl, with the actress. And I wasn't there, so I just got the footage and I picked some of the bloopers, which you can watch now.
Mám ísť k vám? Áno.
Musíš ma skočiť.
Môžu ešte dať vlasy za ucho. Akcia. Počkaj.
Počkaj, poď naspäť.
Pohode, chill.